Bill McHenry and Jason Williams. These are the guys that designed this knife and also a couple others in the Benchmade line. Not only did they design this knife, but they introduced on this knife this right here, the Axis lock. Hello my friends, Late Boy Scout here with my review of the Benchmade 710 McHenry and Williams. This is a big folding knife with a length of about 3.9 inches. It's big. It's big and kind of heavy on the 4.5 ounce persuasion, somewhere in that area. And is it kind of too thick for me? No, not really. Let's compare it to one of the knives that I think are a little over thick. That would be the Rat Model 1. Let's have a look. It's slightly thinner. Slightly thinner than the Rat 1, which is a relief because that knife, the Rat 1, is about the ceiling for me. You know what I'm saying? It's about as heavy as I like to go. And I talked about in my review of this, the Kershaw Tremor, which you may or may not have seen by now, depending on when I choose to post this. This is on the thick side as well. Really thick, even thicker than the Rat. So yeah, I don't dig big wide pocket knives in my pocket. So this is a little bit less wide, and that's one reason I like it and find it to be still fairly pocketable and EDCable, even though it is a large folding knife. Now let's go into some of the specs on this thing. Well, not the specs so much. You saw that down in this area as you're watching the video at the beginning, so we'll just kind of talk about my impressions and describe the thing a little bit. It has steel liners that are milled out. You can see those cutouts there on both sides, and that's a good thing. It would be a much heavier knife if it were not milled out. So thank you for doing that, Benchmade. G10 handle scales, which are mildly grippy with some pretty much cosmetic grooves cut into them. But I'll tell you what, I'll take that over nothing. It's good looking. I like it. I like the handle shape overall. It's ergonomic. It's good and ergonomic. You know, good amount of. It's a gentle ergonomic, I'd say. You know, good little swell here. Good little deepening there. Sort of some traction going on right in this area, but it's recessed into the G10. So does it do any good? Yeah, it actually does some good, just not a great amount of good. Now I'm not sure why we have it up here, since I don't want to get my finger up there really. It's a little bit close to the blade and a little easy to slip and get cut. So I'd rather keep it back here and do my cutting like that. Okay, so that's about it for the handle. We do have a nice little lanyard hole for you to thread your paracord through, and that's a good thing if you like lanyard holes. It's sporting one of Benchmade's standard clips, blackened of course, with a little bit of wear on it, and you're going to expect to get some of that if you get the painted one. And it is reversible to this side as well, but only tip up carry. You cannot switch it to tip down unless you do some major modifications, and good luck with that. So as far as the blade shape is concerned, we'll talk about that a little bit. I do like the fact that it's large, and that's kind of why I bought it, because I want to have a couple large folders for situations where I can't carry a real defensive tool like a handgun. And so that's why I got this. That's why I have this. That's why I have this. You know, just a few. I don't have a lot of them, and I don't carry them very often. I generally leave them as they are and let them stay as sharp as they came. They generally come razor sharp from the factory. I like to leave them that way and generally carry them only if I know I'm going into a situation where I can't have more adequate protection. So that's what this is. Long folding knife for that purpose. Other purposes, yeah, EDC I suppose. With a good blade shape like this, you can get some good everyday carry tasks done. It's got a recurve to it. This area is a little bit harder to sharpen, depending on the sharpening system you use. But, you know, do your best and just kind of keep that area sharp, or use it less if you're afraid of resharpening it. It's got a fairly nice classic drop point design going on to it, a little swedge that's unsharpened, and yeah, just a great look to it. Thumb studs, of course, the McHenry and Williams design indicator there, and D2 steel. What's that mean? Oh my goodness, dude. This is some hard stuff. Hard stuff. On par in hardness, in my experience, with the S30V that you might find on the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. It's a tough steel. A tough steel, but, holds that edge for a long time, but it's hard to get it back once you have dulled it. So bear that in mind. If you want to easily resharpen your knife, I'd say stick to a steel like 154 cm, especially if you're shopping for a Benchmade. 154 cm has never done me wrong. I really like the resharpenability of it. If you're okay with something far less expensive, then you can just get yourself like an 8CR13 MOV on the Bird Cara. That's going to take a wicked edge, hold it adequately long, and resharpen very easily. So that's what you get with D2 steel. Let's talk a little bit about the history of the knife, because it's pretty interesting. McHenry and Williams, who is that? Who are they? Bill McHenry and Jason Williams. These are the guys that designed this knife, and also a couple others in the Benchmade line. Not only did they design this knife, but they introduced on this knife this right here, the Axis lock. My favorite lock from Benchmade. Every Benchmade I own currently has the Benchmade Axis lock on it. I got a couple Griptilians here. I don't have a bunch of Benchmades, I really don't. There's the Osborne Design 943, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 943. Oh man, I love that Axis lock. It's so cool, so cool, and it's very purposeful. They obviously were looking for safety and strength in designing this lock, and they got both. You can easily close this thing without ever getting your fingers in the way of the blade, and that's a crucial thing. You don't get that with liner locks. Not that liner locks or frame locks for that matter are a bad thing. It's just that, well, there's that little bit of added where you have to put the pressure as the blade is coming towards your thumb. If you're not careful, you can cut yourself. A lot of guys have, a lot of guys still do. And a lot of guys I know are nervous about frame locks and liner locks for that very reason. If you're one of those guys, if you have to be one of those guys, this is the perfect lock for you. You don't ever have to get your fingers in the way of the blade. You just pull down on that, either with both fingers, the thumb and index, and close that, or you can kind of flick it open and flick it closed sometimes, or you can just roll it out and use one finger, your thumb for instance, to pull that down, and then index is closing it while everything is out of the way. Fully ambidextrous, of course. You can do the exact same motion with the other hand, easily. So, a really innovative, really cool locking mechanism that they've come up with here, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And pretty much every Benchmade that I ever look at seriously is one that features the Axis lock. If it doesn't, I give it a fleeting look, and then I go off and do other things or whatever. But this is the kind of Benchmade knife that I'm really attracted to. And I also understand that it's very strong, very secure. In Benchmade's tests, from what I've read, it held something like 200 pounds of pressure, and when it did break, it was actually the frame splitting where this pin is, so it still didn't ever let the blade come all the way forward. So that's pretty huge. That's pretty huge, okay? And maybe not the strongest lock out there. One of those, in my opinion, would be this one, the Triad lock, as featured on this, the Cold Steel American Lawman. A very, very strong lock, indeed. I don't think they're messing around with that one. But this one is also very strong and very good. And for everyday use, it's probably as strong as you're ever going to need it to be. So I'd classify this as a folding tactical knife. Still very EDCable at the 4.5 ounce to 5 ounce weight is what I feel like it is. So very usable, very, very usable for that. I do like the fact that it's flat ground. I'll take that when I can get it. Certainly will. Much props, mad props to McHenry and Williams for this awesome design and for the awesome axis lock. Thanks very much, guys. And thanks to all of you for watching my review on this, the Benchmade 710. I'm the Late Boy Scout. We'll see you on the next one.